pseudo-secular parties, the left parties, the Muslim clergy, the Muslim leadership, and the educated Wahhabi intellectual Muslim.
Okay.
They are drummers. They are drummers. And common Muslim is dancing at their drum beat from last 70 years. Ever talk to a Pakistani, or if any Pakistan hears my dialogue with you, let me tell that Pakistani that you are the last people on planet Earth to talk about human rights. What do people want? They want that UP should burn down, and when it will burn down, they will say that Adityanath Yogi is not capable of managing law and order in UP. When he is managing law and order in UP, they are saying he's a fascist. So what do they want from Adityanath?
Since 2014, the Western media has biasedly reported the mistreatment of Muslim minorities, denigrating Hindus, and maligned Prime Minister Modi. Today, In This Lens will speak with Dr. Rizwan Ahmed, a well-known lawyer, advocate, and scholar on Muslim Indian law and political commentator.
So, Doctor, welcome to our show.
Hi, how are you? Thanks for having me.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you, Ahmed. Jai Hind, Vande Mataram.
Jai Hind. So, Doctor, just tell a little bit about yourself. What do you do?
Well, I'm based in Lucknow. I'm based in Lucknow. I'm a socio-religious political commentator here, and by profession, I'm an advocate here. I'm doctorate in law, and my subject had been Muslim personal law in harmony with criminal justice system of India. In that, I did my PhD, my research work. And here I am. I firmly believe that nation is first. I believe in Jai Hind because it is my nation. I believe in Vande Mataram because that is my culture. And I believe in Assalamu Alaikum because that is my faith. And all three together sum up as my DNA. And this only runs in my veins, in my blood.
Okay. So, Doctor, based on your introduction, it seems you're a very proud Indian Muslim, right?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
But tell me one thing. What do you think about the current situation in India? It is at this point of time, it is ruled by so-called fascist, majoritarian Hindu nationalist Modi. So why do you feel so proud about it?
No, it is absolutely not. Fascist, what I read and understood in my life, fascist was Hitler. And if anybody pseudo-secular or leftist compare Modi to Hitler, they are stupid. They are making a fool of themselves. And I can see, if you allow me to elaborate,
Sure.
see, Indian political system, the landscape can be roughly divided into three parts. One are the pseudo-secular parties, one are the left, and one is the right wing, as they call it. So over 70 years, no matter left and the pseudo-secular parties were contesting against each other in elections, but in right wing they saw a common enemy, and they somehow believed that the socio-religious political structure of India is such that right wing can never come at helm of affairs. And this proved right for almost 70 years.
Okay.
And then came 2014, that we found Modi is crossing 270 mark, marginally the simple majority.
Right.
So then these people thought that maybe it is a fluke, maybe Modi has sold some dream to Indian youth, maybe it is a Jumla party which it is a fluke. And they were very much sure that in 2019 Modi won't cross the 200 mark. And even I was thinking that Modi. Now what happens that Modi crosses the 300 mark. Now this situation of Prime Minister Modi crossing the 300 mark and the right wing coming in the driver's seat in India, they never imagined that this will happen for last 70 years. And this has sent them into a jittery, this has frustrated them, and this frustration is manifesting themselves in abusing India. And these people in last 6 years, what has fascist Modi done? In last 15 days, what we are seeing the upheaval, the most illogical upheaval in India. How many people were killed in police firing? Had this been the 80s or the early 80s or mid 90s, and Congress government would have been there, I'm sure 200 people would have lost their life in police firing. Fascist was the time when we saw riots in Meerut, Aligarh, Bhiwandi, Muradabad, Bhagalpur. Meerut used to see a curfew 200 days in 365 in days. Aligarh used to witness curfew about 200 days in 1 year. So had Modi been fascist, we would have seen something worse than that. So in last 6 years, may I know how many people have been killed in state-sponsored violence? I think hardly. I think maybe none. How can anybody call Modi fascist? It's so stupid.
But again, as I come back from a person in Western media, it's all over talked about, like, since Modi came in 2014, like all major mainstream media, there's their allegation since Modi came in, Muslims are living in fear. Muslims have been persecuted. Muslims have been lynched. Muslim is living a horrible life in India. So as an Indian Muslim, do you think the allegations are correct? Or what do you have to say on that?
Absolutely wrong. See, recently, the person who claims to be the voice for Muslims, and some stupid Muslims, educated Muslims, believe him to be the voice of Muslims in India, Asaduddin Owaisi, recently he said about a month back, the state of Muslims is worse in the state of West Bengal. You can check it. You can check it and you can put it in, along with my bite. These are the words of Mr. Owaisi. Now, West Bengal as a state has never been ruled by right wing. It has never been ruled by BJP. On the contrary, Muslims per capita and the standard of living of Muslim is best in Gujarat. And Gujarat from last almost 25 years is being ruled by right wing. So what an irony. The state in which the Muslims are doing the best, it is ruled by right wing. And the state in which the Muslims are doing worse has never been ruled by right wing. It has always been ruled by left. Left also, or so-called secular Mamta. So can anybody who is saying that Muslims are being persecuted under Modi, can anybody challenge me on this, that Muslims of Gujarat are best and Muslims of West Bengal are worse?
Okay. So you come from Uttar Pradesh, UP, right? And
Yeah.
it's also ruled by Yogi Ji at this point of time, and it's a right-wing BJP. And Yogi Ji was called as Hindu militant leader by one of a very, very prominent newspaper based in US. Okay, so when he came in, and since then, even if you given the recent riots about the CAA and stuff like that, the police has been very open in going after the people, and they had been seen, there have been lathi charges and stuff like that. Living in that state, don't you think like there should be a more of a fear, because if that's kind of a hardline staunch Hindutva leader is leading your state, and on top of that there is a central government which has the fascist Modi in there.
See, UP in recent 2 weeks has not seen staunch Hindutva violence. UP has seen staunch, well, we can say, I don't want to generalize, but if we see the majority of people who are in jails, against whom FIRs have been lodged and whom we could see on TV channels. So last 14 days has not seen a Hindu uprising. It has seen a stupid Muslim uprising. And in UP, about 5 dozen policemen are in ICU. For God's sake, police pickets have been burned down. Police people, and then the police has to ultimately take control in its hand. What do people want? They want that UP should burn down, and when it will burn down, they will say that Adityanath Yogi is not capable of managing law and order in UP. When he is managing law and order in UP, they are saying he's a fascist. So what do they want from Adityanath?
So are you anywhere affiliated with BJP or RSS?
Absolutely not. I am accountable, and devoted to the idea of Bharat Mata, in which I see Bharat Mata as a living entity. I have nothing to do whatsoever with BJP or Jansangh or RSS except that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is my Prime Minister. I voted for him in 2014. I voted for him in 2019. Maybe in 2024 I won't vote for him because it is 24 is still very far off. And this is all about democracy. And maybe some people who did not vote for Modi will vote for Modi in 2024. That is my right to vote for anybody. That is my constitutional right. But absolutely not. Any person who says this with that Rizwan is associated with right wing or BJP, that person cannot face reality. That person is living in denial. That is all.
Okay, but again, I'll come back to that point. Recently, I saw one of your video based on CAA, where Delhi police entered Jamia Milli and back Delhi police. But don't you think that's much more? These students, they were students. They might be writing, but they were still students, and they had the right to protest. But the police did not have the right to get in. But you supported the police, saying people don't know the law.
Okay, thank you so much for asking me. Number one, because you're talking to me from so far, from America to India, from America to India to Australia, can anybody fetch me a rule book which says that students are immune? Students can indulge in rioting? I don't think so. Any rule book says this. Number one. Number two, when students are within the four wall of their campus, then I am sure that police has to show restraint if they are agitating against the administration or there is some conflict between the management and the students. But when students step out of the four wall of their campus, they lose that immunity of being student, what you are mentioning. Once they start pelting stones, once they start sitting on dharna on roads, blocking traffic, they take law in their hand. And once they take law in their hand, then police is not supposed to stop at the gate of that campus. Police has the right to enter the campus and do the needful, which the Delhi police did. I congratulate Delhi police. If you are a student, if the proctor is saying that why did police enter the campus, first the proctor should answer that how did the students come out of the campus.
But I think on the same line, people went to Supreme Court and Supreme Court said police has the right to enter base. I think basically you are talking on the same line.
I was talking on this same line before the observation of Honorable Supreme Court. I am also a practicing lawyer, and that too a criminal lawyer. So I know what I speak. Being a student does not make you immune to hooliganism. That is all what I want to tell. But, and no matter you are a male or a female, it does not immune you.
Right. But still, these people are saying India is a democracy. We have a right to protest. But why are police, like in UP, you see, in Delhi, you see, and majorly because Delhi police is controlled by the center, not by the state. UP police is controlled by the state, which is again a BJP, and center is BJP. So they are saying when there is a riot, there was no such action in West Bengal when they burned down railway stations. But there is action in UP and Delhi and other states where it is a BJP-run government. So again, it is they are coming out because supposedly it is, I'll come to that point, supposedly anti-Muslim act, but even they are Muslim, they are part of India and they have all the right to protest.
Absolutely.
So why is the only BJP government going after these people?
Absolutely, you have a right to protest, but I request these young misguided students to study law before indulging into protest. Every major state in India, I don't know about America, every major state has a designated place where you can assemble and you can voice your protest. If you were protesting in Delhi, go to Ramlila Maidan, go to Jantar Mantar peacefully and protest over there. You are not supposed to protest on the streets blocking traffic and creating a law and order situation. Go to Ramlila Maidan, sit over there and protest for 15 days continuously. Nobody will lathi charge you. But if you will sit on the road, you deserve to be caned.
Okay, that again coming back to a CAA. As say India is a democracy and everyone should have the equal right, regardless of the practice of the religion. So why this bill is been labeled by the media, not by me, by the media, mainly in Western countries. The headlines are India introduces a controversial anti-Muslim bill and an anti-Muslim act. So why would Indian government do something that is anti-Muslim?
See, with due respect to the West, The problem with West is they cannot see a rising and shining India because they have already burned down their fingers with China. And they do not want to see rising and shining India so that the global power will shift to South Asia. Number one, I'm not saying all, but few of them. Number one. Number two, when you are talking about CAA, first understand what CAA is. CAA is the species. What is the genus? The genus is a broken, violated promise which Pakistan made to its minorities in 1951 and which Bangladesh made to its minorities in 1971. A handful of Hindus, non-Muslims, minorities who stayed back in Pakistan thinking that Jinnah was a modern pork-eating and wine-drinking Muslim, he'll keep Pakistan modern. But till the Bhuttos, things were relatively cool in Pakistan. But General Zia introduced a Wahhabi culture and then atrocities were unleashed over the minorities in Pakistan. Now come to Bangladesh. When Bangladesh was being violated, raped and looted by the Punjabi Sunni Muslims of Pakistan, Indian army rose to the occasion. The leadership of Pakistan or leadership of Bangladesh promised us a secular state. But General Irshad transformed it again from a secular state to an Islamic state and atrocities were unleashed on minorities. Now Gandhiji also told to the Hindu brothers, non-Muslim brothers in Pakistan that if you feel you have taken a wrong decision, come back to India. Same thing Manmohan Singh also reiterated when he was leader of opposition in the Rajya Sabha somewhere in 2003 when Atal Bihari Ji was the Prime Minister. So what Gandhiji said, what Manmohan Singh said, Narendra Modi is only giving it a face of the aspirations of Gandhiji and Manmohan Singh. So technically speaking, only the minorities have been violated by a false promise, both of Pakistan and Bangladesh, not Muslims. So minorities have a right to come to India because their promise vis-a-vis their safety has been violated. Now, if a Muslim says that my promise also has been violated, now how can a Muslim justify that he's a minority in a Muslim nation? For God's sake, he cannot.
Right.
So CAA is technically for minorities who were violated by Pakistan and Bangladesh, only minorities, not Muslims. So CAA does not allow Muslims. So simple to understand.
Okay. All right. Fine. But then they are saying they're going to link NPR and NRC to it, where they will take away Muslims and they will send back to Bangladesh. They are illegal. What they did in Assam, I'm guessing they're trying to do that. That's what the fear is so far. I had heard a couple Bollywood celebrities stating that might happen in future. But as far as I know, NRC has nothing to do with CAA so far. They had not introduced anything about NRC in there. So do you think that they will take that action, and that is a genuine fear in Muslims that they would be deported?
The pseudo-secular parties, the left parties, the Muslim clergy, the Muslim leadership, and the educated Wahhabi intellectual Muslim, they are drummers. They are drummers. And common Muslim is dancing at that drum beat from last 70 years. This stupid upheaval without any reason or logic of last 14 days connecting CAA to NRC was part of that drumming and part of that dancing which is continuing in this nation from last 70 years. I was appealing to my community again and again that, I'll give you an analogy. A farmer said that I have grown sugarcane in one field. Then he said that, okay, I will do farming in other field also. How did you presume that he will grow sugarcane there also? The soil condition, the weather condition, and that part of the land was for sugarcane. In this part of land, it is for wheat. Now they are saying NRC will be repeated. NRC is not a brainchild of BJP, for God's sake. NRC is a constitutional process. And Amit Shah is saying NRC shall be replicated in pan-India. Let's welcome it. Did he say on the same basis and same conditions of Assam? No. That is what I have been appealing to my people again and again in video releases. Let them, for God's sake, come up with a draft. Once they come up with the draft, we will read the draft and we will protest. I will also protest if your fundamental right of a Hindi speaking, Kannada speaking, Marathi speaking, Haryanvi speaking, Punjabi speaking Muslim is being violated. We will also raise voice. Our Hindu brothers will raise voice. But for God's sake, let us read the draft. The draft does not exist. And you are burning down the nation because of a draft which has not been written on presumption and conjectures. For God's sake.
So, when you talk about NRC, you said it is welcome if it is based on it is within the boundaries of democracy and the constitution and the law. So, do you think India really has that a big problem with illegal immigrants?
See, my question is, why even one illegal immigrant? Why? And when they talk about detention centers for illegal immigrants, for God's sake, detention centers exist in every nation which is facing illegal immigrant problem. India is not the first nation in West Bengal to come up with detention centers. If they exist, a couple or so, every nation has. And why even one illegal immigrant? You come to India, take a work permit, work here, but why you want to live like a thief here? Why you want to live like a encroacher here? Why you need a voting card here? Why you need an Aadhaar card here? Take a work permit, take a foreigner work permit and come and work here. Most welcome. Why will we allow even one illegal immigrant in this country?
So if they are illegal, how they can get to how they get the work? I mean, not the work permit, but the documents might be a ration card or anything. So how do you think it is even possible?
Yes, in some parts of India, that is very much possible that people can get made other fake Aadhaar cards or voting cards. And I'm sorry to say, but there are many incidences where political parties are involved in getting these people have fake Aadhaar cards and fake voting cards. So when political dispensation is involved, then who can stop it?
Okay. Going back in chronology, we talked about CAA, NRC. Let me get your point of view on how do you look at abrogation of Article 370? Was it the violation of rights of Kashmiris or Muslims, or like how they claim it, like because it was BJP government did that? How do you look at this entire issue?
See, Article 370, I agree. It was a privilege or it was a promise at the time of independence, at the time of partition, which was submitted in front of Kashmiri leaders, that under such and such circumstances, we will work together. You will have some specific rights, and those rights were given to them so that Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir as a state prospers. Now, from the last 20 years or 25 odd years, we are hearing that from Kashmiri leaders themselves that there are no jobs in Kashmir, there is no development in Kashmir, there is no progress in Kashmir. On the contrary, there is violence in Kashmir, there is stone pelting in Kashmir, there is terror in Kashmir. So when we promised them Article 370, they also promised us something, na?
Right.
They also promised us peaceful coexistence with India, na? They also promised. So it is mutual. So when those people say that you by abrogating Article 370, you are violating the promise. Now, may I ask them that what has happened in Kashmir in last 30 years? Have they not violated the promise which they made to India? They have. So it means the purpose of Article 370 was not met. It means Kashmir was not progressing because of Article 370. Kashmir was not peaceful because of Article 370. Kashmir was not happy in spite of Article 370. Then let us try some change. Maybe the results are good. Why not? Life and policies are always dynamic. They cannot be static according to circumstances. They are dynamic. Simple.
Okay. So something related to 370, it has always been going on. This is a very interesting subject for me because we meet several Pakistanis over here who are obviously related to certain big families from there. All we hear is it has boosted after abrogation of 370, but all we hear is India do not respect the human rights of minorities. Mainly after abrogation of 370 in Kashmir, I mean, fake or real, Kashmir issue, there has been pictures all over social media. I don't know which IT cell is working on that, but they have been all over media, social media. They were like atrocities on kids, atrocities on women, atrocities on men. So don't you think as a Muslim, Indian Muslim, you should be concerned about those atrocities?
If you ever talk to a Pakistani or if any Pakistan hears my dialogue with you, let me tell that Pakistani that you are the last people on planet Earth to talk about human rights. Forget about minorities. I will tell you about Muslims. Muslims killing Muslims. Pakistan is directly responsible for 3 million deaths of Sunni Muslims at hands of Sunni army. In 1971 in Bangladesh, there were 130,000 rapes for God's sake. Number one. Number two, their atrocities over Muhajirs, their atrocities over Baluch, their atrocities over Ahmadiyas, their atrocities over Hazaras. And Pakistani army went still as far as Jordan to kill Palestinians. 20,000 Palestinians were killed in 1 month, which is known as Black September. Ask Pakistani to go and read about Black September, that Pakistan army was instrumental in killing 20,000 Palestinians in Jordan. So when it comes to human rights, for God's sake, I can't even say that devil is preaching scriptures. Pakistan is not even a devil, worse than devil for human rights. So please give me a break, man. I cannot hear or digest or conceive the idea of Pakistani talking about human rights. For God's sake, come on.
Okay, all right. So let's talk about a little bit about where you come from, Uttar Pradesh, and which has a very strong roots of of the two nation theory or the Islamic idea, and it has a very strong root to Hindu.
Three places.
Yeah. So
Mathura, Kashi, Ayodhya, Prayag. 4 places.
okay, Prayag, now Prayag.
Uh, uh.
Okay, but coming from that area, what do you think? I think I saw your picture sometime back. You went to Kumbh Mela and all dressed up like a Hindu sadhu and monk, and so so don't you think? And that is one of the reason probably you get a lot of trolls and abuses from your own community. Just kidding.
I was not dressed up like a Hindu sadhu, for God's sake. I was dressed up like a Bharatiya. Okay, number one. And there was another reason behind it. There was an agenda behind it. My agenda was, if Rizwan Ahmed dresses up like he puts up a tilak or wears the dhoti or a kurta, then you troll him. But when the same thing pseudo-secular politicians do, you call them secular. So first decide. Either we both are drama kings. I am also a drama king. Rahul Gandhi, Kejriwal, Mulayam Singh Yadav, Mamta Di, we all are drama kings. I am happy with that. Or you say we all are secular, they are also secular, I am also secular. And if Muslim is saying that they are secular, then why can't Muslim also once in a while wear a tilak, wear a dhoti and enjoy Hindu festivity? What's wrong with it? I don't think there's anything wrong in it.
As per them, that is applying tilak is not a part of Islam. It's a kufr.
Then killing Muslim is also not a part of Islam. Killing innocent non-Muslim is also not a part of Islam. Many things are not part of Islam. Being thankless also is not a part of Islam. So many things are not a part of Islam.
Okay, so connected to that, Ayodhya being the very, very big issue of 2019, how do you look at that? Don't you think, I mean, I know the case has been going on and on and on for a very long time, from High Court to Supreme Court and everything. Don't you think, although I think Modi ji had made it clear that we won't do anything, we will wait for the Supreme Court's decision, and then they declared that they're going to, just now I think Amit Shah declared they're going to make the temple within 4 months. But when Supreme Court decision came in, here there are allegations of Muslims not feeling safe in India, or the fascist Modi is ruling, or whatever the allegations are. And here the Supreme Court also comes in and gives a judgment against the Muslim the community or their feelings. Don't you think that gives a more reason for Muslim to be not feeling a part of India?
See, the entire debate or clash over Ram Mandir was uncalled for. See, some things Muslims have to understand in black and white. Living in denial won't help the community, and it has not helped the community in the past. Okay? Once under excavation, under Supreme Court order, once, and I have been advocating for Ram Mandir, not now. I have paper cuttings of my seminar, media coverage of my seminar in 2003. I'll post it to you. 2003. Once in excavation conducted under aegis of Supreme Court, man-made structure came out underneath the demolished mosque or structure, whatever you consider it. And once it was proved that the mosque did not come up on virgin land, irrespective of it being the Ram Janambhoomi or some institute or some building or some anything, forget about Ram Janambhoomi, the specific place through GPS, forget about that. Once it was proved a man-made structure, whatsoever it was underneath the mosque, and mosque was not made on virgin land. This Muslims came to know in 2002 or 2003 report. Muslims should have unequivocally withdrawn from this litigation. They dragged it to embarrass themselves. And as they say, you cannot push luck too far. And the mistake what Muslims are doing in this country, they are pushing their luck too far. And I think now the threshold is reaching.
What do you mean by threshold is reaching?
See, threshold in name of tolerance, in name of secularism, I think has lived its life in India.
Yeah,
it is phasing out. It is phasing out.
Okay. But the intolerance has raised since 2014, since Modi ji came into office, allegedly.
No. The intolerance, you consider it intolerance or you consider it accountability. It always existed. The only thing I agree that since 2014, it is manifesting itself. People have become more vehement about it. What are you talking about intolerance? Right now, people are saying, talking about lynching. Let me come up with lynching. There have been about 40 odd lynchings in this country, vis-a-vis which are seen from a communal prism.
Okay.
I think all were not from communal prism, less, but I agree it is unfortunate about 15 to 20 lynchings happened in name of religion, in backdrop of religion. I agree to that. And it is sad, no doubt about it. But I can quote you hundreds of deaths of Muslims from 1975 to 1990 in the same very country. Same very country. Who is accountable for that? Who can forget Maliana and Hashimpura? Who can forget Bhiwandi, Bhagalpur, Meerut, Bhopal? You name a city. So are we facing riots of same gravity now? No. There have been lynching. The Prime Minister has come out very strongly against them. And if you see from the last 6 months, they are very much under control. Some fringe elements are always there. And there are people who tend to, spill over. Spill over, they go overboard and kill somebody. It is very sad, very pathetic, no doubt about it. But akhlaq, the first so-called fringing in name of beef, when it took place, who was the Chief Minister? Akhilesh Yadav. When did Muzaffarnagar riots take place? In the last 20 years or 15 years, one major Hindu-Muslim riot has taken place in UP, Muzaffarnagar. Who was the Chief Minister? Akhilesh Yadav. The same intellectuals, the same Muslims, why don't they ask Akhilesh Yadav that how the concept of concept of lynching through akhlaq came in our public domain, in our social domain, when Akhilesh Yadav was the chief minister. Why didn't he take strict action then? Why didn't he do the same what any person would have done who would have cared about human rights or Muslim rights? Why don't Muslims ask Akhilesh Yadav this? Why they ask the same question to Modi and Yogi?
Yeah, but see, that's what the major perspective is, that the lynching started after 2014 when Modi came into office, and now like Yogi and Modi had given a free hand to the Hindutva forces to go and kill Muslims, and only Muslims are being lynched in this entire situation and nothing else.
If Modi and Yogi would have given a free hand to Hindu fringe elements, then believe me, in last 14 days, there would have been massive and uncontrollable Hindu-Muslim riots in this country, where deaths would have crossed easily a 5,000 mark. Mark my words. Had they given a free hand to fringe elements in last 14 days, at least 5,000 people would have been killed in this country. How many were killed? 15. So?
Okay. All right. So also on those lines, but again, there had been lynchings based on allegations of beef or whatever, the possession of beef and stuff like that. So don't you think that really connects to the beef ban on certain parts of India? How do you look at that? Don't you think they have their own right what they want to eat, and no one should die just because they are carrying a beef or something like that? And how do you look the entire beef ban and the cows are being sacred and worshipped by Hindus and the entire issue, I would say?
That is what I am saying. Post-independence, Muslims should understand one thing. Give the majority community, the secular majority community of this country its due. Don't push your arguments and your luck too far. At times you might be logically correct, but same logic won't sum up when you will find yourself socially incorrect. Your being logically correct won't make you end up being socially correct. Something is related with their sentiments. Why question that why do you allow beef in Northeast? Why you allow in Goa? For God's sake, we need a peaceful neighborhood. Peace starts from neighborhood. If we are in that part of India where the neighborhood worships cow, then for God's sake, let us not get into an argument that why are you allowing people to eat in Northeast and Goa or Kerala. We should abstain from consuming cow. There are 10 other things, for God's sake, consume them. Why you have to get into an argument which will intimidate your neighborhood, the majority community, and that neighborhood will wait for the right and opportune time to retaliate against you, and then you will say this is an intolerant nation. For God's sake, step back. Give non-Muslims some due, at least in your neighborhood where they are worshipping cow. Why you have to get up into arguments and pulling up your sleeves all the time?
See, that's the reason when you make these kind of statements, people allege you to be linked to RSS or Hindutva forces because you always support them.
I am linked to Bharat Mata and I am linked to common sense. That is all. What I advise to Muslim, it is for their betterment. If they don't understand, this is not my headache. From last 14 days, I am virtually begging to my community to show restraint and understand what NRC and CAA is. If they are not ready to understand, what is the balance sheet? The balance sheet is 50,000 cases, mostly against Muslims, 10,000 in jail, 10,000 absconding, property burnt, 20 dead. Who is the person who lost major in this nonsense of 14 days? Muslims. The nation lost, the harmony lost, everything. I agreed. any people who are injured or the property have been burnt have lost. But if you say primarily Muslims lost, and for what? They even do not know what their demand is.
Yeah, right. So Yogi ji made this announcement, excuse me, and I think they're already working on it. I don't know where it has reached, but they have already seized properties of the writers and stuff like that, and they are going to auction it and get the money out of it. How do you look at that? Is it even constitutional?
No. It is absolutely constitutional. This is what Yogi ji is doing. This is not his initiative. These are specific directions of Honorable Supreme Court.
Okay.
Yeah, that in riots, the people whom you charge for rioting, some share of the losses has to come from them. Now, the only thing is, this has for the first time, this is being implemented so strictly. Now, what I expect from Mr. Yogi, that in future, I support what he is doing, but in future, if there is, God forbid, some riot concerned with some reservation or for anything in UP and people indulge in rioting, then Mr. Adityanath Yogi should use the same stick and same parameter there also. This is my appeal, and this is fair, and this is fair.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay, so now we talked a lot about India. Let's get into a little bit of the internationally very charged issue. Amit Shah ji made a statement some time back that they're going to take back POK, and that was there on the manifesto of BJP. And if they are going to start an operation or they are going to take the Pakistan occupied Kashmir within the Indian, the territory. So how do you look at that issue? Do you think they should be offensive about it, or just wait for the international community to intervene and take the action should take the due course?
2 point of view. Number one, now you will feel that no, Dr. Rizwan is not a member of BJP.
Okay.
Number one, it is rhetoric. I don't see much into it. Number two, the hilarious part of it. Even if Pakistan comes up with the idea of presenting us POK, I will say, Baba, thank you very much. I don't need POK. I am tired of this Jammu and Kashmir issue. I don't want to add POK in it. The people, the trigger happy people of POK in it, and then tomorrow end up confronting them also. So if they are in POK, let them be happy there. At least I as an individual don't want people from POK to be part of the Indian Jammu and Kashmir. Very clear.
Why?
The people in POK, see, I presume that the people of POK, if tomorrow they align with India, they join India. It is my presumption as a socio-religious Islamic scholar, or sorry, as a student, that 20 years down the line, they will create some nuisance for India.
Okay. All right. I think in your video you said on CAA, I think you are ready to take a responsibility of Hindu or Sikh and Buddhist refugees coming in. You are ready to write it down, but you're not ready to do for the other side of it.
No, what me? Anybody who is advocating that in CAA, minorities, Muslims from Bangladesh or Pakistan should be granted citizenship of India. Is that person ready to submit an affidavit in Supreme Court that if that person is found engrossed in any or involved in any anti-national activity, he should also be held accountable? Is there any person with guts to give this affidavit in Supreme Court before you're advocating they're coming to India? Is there any person?
Right. So also to sum this up entire conversation, what would be your ending remarks on all the topics that we had touched? We had briefly touched it. I'm pretty sure you have a lot more to say on these issues. Yeah. We might get into other calls as well in future and talk more in detail as and when the issues we get a chance to discuss. What is your entire point of view on India, Muslim have been persecuted? Your point of view on Modi ji or BJP, RSS, this entire conversation, what we talked about. Can you give some ending remarks on that?
Ending remark is for Muslims that as far as I have studied with respect to all the races on planet Earth, there might be fringe elements, there might be radical elements in followers of Hinduism, but by and large, it is the most tolerant religion. The Muslims in India should consider themselves blessed that they are in a majority of Hindus. They should be a part of the mainstream. They should forget about making their own individual religious-based identity. They should come, they should strive to be progressive, strive to be better Indian, strive for uniform civil code, and love this nation and be devoted to this nation. There can be nothing better than India for Muslims.
All right. Doctor, thank you very much for joining
So
us.
nice.
It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you so
And
much.
it
Thank you
was
so much.
really, it was my honor to have you on the show.
So nice of you. Same here. I reciprocate. I reciprocate. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Bye bye.
Have a good evening.
Jai Hind, Vande Mataram, Allah
Jai Hind,
Hafiz.
Vande Mataram.